Imagine living in a republic society where everyone is equal, until they tell you one day out of nowhere, well, we're currently losing the war, so the government has decided to take away the citizenship of everyone who's not an Alba, or everyone who does not have silver hair and eyes. Not only all those people will be locked up and must guard a camp outside the 85 districts of the country, known as the 86th district, but they will also be forced to build a wall to protect the republic. Yet, to make things spicier, those people will be forced to ride juggernauts and fight for 5 years to get their freedom back. I mean, if they manage to stay alive. In May 2148, 9 years after the start of the war between the Republic and the Jaidian Empire, we meet Vladilna Malais, also known as Lena. She's an Alba citizen and major for the Republic of San Magnolia. Basically, her job is to command an 86 squadron against the Empire's legions, which are the real battle automated drones that surprisingly keep getting stronger every single time. Lena commands her team in battle through a parade, a device that enables her to share the processor's senses and communicates with them. On the other side of the wall, we have Shane Nozen, also known as Shin the Strongest 86 and leader of the Spearhead Squadron. His team is composed of the Strongest 86, all because each squadron is composed of members with similar years of service, and Shin's squad are all almost reaching the 5 years goal to finally be free again, which no 86 has ever achieved. The thing about Shin is that his code name is the Undertaker, because he kills his own team members as he did recently. No, he's not a psychopath. If a member ends up being severely injured in battle, he feels forced to shoot his squadron member's head. He does this to stop the legions from stealing their brain and using them to improve their automated drones. He has done it over 500 times and takes a metal scrap where he craves his dead companion's name. When he was a kid, he was almost strangled to death. For that reason, he can hear the voices of the 86 who were converted into Legion robots, which enables him to know when the Legion is going to attack them. Because of those voices, his previous commander committed suicide, since he could hear the voices of the dead. Therefore, Lena is appointed as his squadron's new commander. Don't get this Alba girl wrong. Unlike everyone else, she treats every 86 as a person, but yeah, it's the same as nothing because the rest of the Alba are racist pricks with a superiority complex who treats everyone as their slaves and calls them pigs. 1 week later, after introducing herself and talking to her new squadron, Lena informs that they will be attacked. She's already late. The squadron already knew about the attack and is ready to deploy. There are hundreds of legions against a few 20s of the 86, but that means nothing. Shin's squad takes advantage of the high ground and starts to open fire like madmen. The legion's robots' numbers start to decrease very easily before they can even realize what the scraping hell is going on. They manage to finally locate the 86 positions, but it's too late. They launch their missiles, but they can't even hit the 86 back. It's a one-sided battle. The Spearman Squadron's skills are far better than those automated robots. They easily dodge everything as they take advantage of the terrain and blast those scraps away, until they are forced to split up and retreat because of a long-range gunner-type Scorpion fire. Lena tries to do her job and provide info, but Shin simply tells her she's useless. Any info she provides will enable the enemy to locate them. Unwilling to lose, Shin charges forward, deciding to solo carry this battle. He rushes forward, dodges some missiles, dodges their bullets, and jumps on top of a robot, shooting it into the junkyard. He jumps back to the streets, dodges more bullets, and covers himself behind some demolished buildings to avoid fire. He charges forward again and uses his Juggernaut's blade to cut the Legion's robot's legs and shoots at scrapyards. To dodge, he launches a cable and uses it to climb on top of a bridge. Jumps right down on top of one as the Legion's robots are confused and blast it, making the robots retreat away. Later, Lena starts to call her squad every day, especially Shin because it's probably her kink. But not everyone wants to talk to her. I mean, nobody in the squadron wants to talk to her. Simply because why should they trust the same people who strip their rights and force them to fight to the death, and also because she seems to get close to Shin. She's quite a naive girl who believes she's going her best and they're going to win the war and change the world. But for the first time since she joined, one of the squad members dies. She tries to apologize to the squad, but some of them start ranting at her for being like just another Alba who sees them as slaves and not humans. That's why she's hiding in the capital luxuries and not on the front lines. But her real sin is that she never tried to learn their real names and only used their nicknames. Lena ends up having an emotional breakdown, but she later calls them to apologize and asks for their real names. Everyone introduces themselves and have fun. Shin tells her his name and Lena realizes she knows his elder brother. When Lena was still a kid, her father took her out to show her how badly the 86 are treated. He wanted his daughter to see the reality and fight for a noble cause. However, some Legion robots attacked them while they were traveling on a helicopter. Lena's father passed away, but she was saved by Shin's brother, Shaore. Lena was the only survivor and was hiding from the Legion's robot. Out of nowhere, Shin's brother appears and dodges the robot's bullets and takes the perfect opportunity to shoot it down. During that day, Shaori revealed that he just wished his 5 years of service to finally end and go back home to take care of Shin. However, Shin doesn't really have good memories of his brother. When Shin was still a kid, his brother went crazy blaming Shin for their parents' deaths and almost strangled him to death. But it's all in the past. Shaori doesn't want to kill Shin anymore because he can't, he's already dead. During Shin's early service years, he found the juggernaut that his brother piloted, and well, there was a body inside, but he lacked its brain. Weeks later, during another fight, they hear the voice of their previous companion who recently died. Lena starts to freak out when she hears the voices of the dead. Shin gets all mad. The Legion took his companion's brain and turned her into a puppet for the sake of this war. He finds the robot and coordinates everyone in the squad to attack and terminate the robot down, finally bringing peace to her soul. Lena doesn't understand why she could hear the voices, and Shin explains to her that unlike the Republic that uses the 86 to fight for them, the Legion robots are made with the dead 86's brains, enabling them to mass-produce robots that keep evolving. Therefore, the Republic is pretty much doomed, because once all of the 86 are gone, the Republic will have nobody to fight for them. Lena cannot believe it, as she's the typical delusional girl who believes they will end the war before all of the 86 are dead. Sometime later, Shin's squad is all partying around like crazy, but once again they must fight. They start moving forward through a forest and dodge the Legion's heavy artillery. The Legion's robots have evolved. They already know the Spearhead most used strategy and tries to avoid it at all costs. But in the other hand, the Spearheads get all hyped up and shoot them back, sending them to the scrapyard. But the numbers increase and one of the juggernauts is blown into a swamp. Another member tries to help her just to get blown away. Some of the Legion's new humanoid robots run into his juggernaut and attach to it to self-destruct. The girl is still stuck in the swamp and can't get away. The Legion's robots approach her and she shoots them with a gun. It has no effect. She's doomed since nobody from the Spearheads can arrive in time to save her, and she decides to take her own life. After the fight finishes, Shin checks if any of his previous companions are still alive. The guy survived the explosion but is severely injured, so he puts an end to his misery. Due to the previous events, Lena decides to request aid for her squad. She wants reinforcements, an aerial strike, she wants everything. But she's simply denied. Days later, Shin's squad is ordered to investigate a place that seems fishy and smells like a trap. The Republic will do anything to stop them from being free and send their squad into suicide missions. It is indeed an ambush. The Legion uses long-range cannons to attack them from 75 miles away, wiping half of Shin's squad. From the original 24, there are only 9 left who manage to escape and stay alive. Lena once again wants to request reinforcements from the higher ranks because they sent new robots and resources, but they won't send new soldiers. The group decides to finally tell Lena the truth. They're almost finishing their 5 years of service, and the Republic doesn't care about their lives. They don't want them to survive. All those resources they've received aren't for them. It's for the next squad that will come to replace them after they get all wiped out. That's why the Republic decided to send them to that mission. And any future mission will also be a suicide mission. Lena can't believe their words. She doesn't understand why they haven't escaped or get revenge on the Republic. They have the Juggernauts, and it would be easy for them to achieve any of both. The squad's vice captain steps in and tells her they won't feel happy by doing it. They cannot carry the guilt of allowing the legions to destroy the Republic because some Albas helped and protected them in the past. Some of them even decided to fight alongside them. It wouldn't be fair to allow all Albas to suffer and die when some of them have a gentle heart and cared about them. They also cannot let all the 86 deaths to be in vain. They fought together, they lived together, and they loved each other. Therefore, they must fight for everything it matters to them, even if it means running into their own end. Lena then decides to ask her friend's help, Annette, who works for the military research and development sector. Lena wants Annette to help her stop everything, but Annette is a typical Alba who pretty much says everything is doomed. Lena should only deal with it. They cannot do anything to protect the 86 since they're in this discrimination state for the past 9 years, and Lena's sense of justice isn't enough to change the whole Republican mindset. Lena still insists on helping the 86, but Annette gets mad. She knows they cannot change their country's mindset. She knows how Lena feels and tells that before the war, when she was still a kid, she used to play every day with an 86 kid. But people started to complain about her connection to an 86 kid, so she decided to reject the kid, saying he was just a dirty kid who will never be as pure as her kind. During that same time, her parents wanted to hide this kid's family because they were friends and couldn't see them suffer with this war. Annette as a kid pulled out the betrayal card and denied such efforts, allowing the kid and his family to be taken away to a concentration camp. Annette tells this is only proof that everything is rotten. Everyone is an accomplice in this disgusting society. Even the para-raid system is a device made from experiments on 86 until they died. After their argument, Lena decides to ask the general for help, but he clearly denies it because they cannot allow any 86 to survive. They know they committed a crime against them, a crime that lasted for several years. The only solution they have is the extermination of the 86. Shin finally hears his brother's voice. He calls Lena to tell her about it. But not only that, he's already planning with his squad to move and finally destroy his brother's robot. And if they manage to stay alive, they will escape and try to find a place far from the Republic to finally live a peaceful life, hopefully as the last remaining 5 members. They enjoy their last moments in their base and then move out to their final battle. They find Shaorei's robot and tons of other legions. Their numbers just keep increasing every single time. This time it's 5 against hundreds. It's impossible for them to win. Shin suddenly hears his brother's voice. He smiles like a madman and starts to slowly move forward. The rest of the squadron starts to follow him, but the Legion starts a barrage of high-range attacks. They increase their pace, and Shin only has only thing in his mind: to kill his own brother. He finally finds his brother and dodges his attacks while shooting him back. He continues to dodge and gets the perfect moment to use some heavy artillery, but it has no effect, forcing him to dodge back. One of the Legion's robots tries to take Shin out but gets shot down by his robot's robot. Shaorei is still in control of his robot, even though his brain is inside a Legion's robot. He wants this fight to be one-on-one. The rest of the squad is wasting all of their ammunition to destroy all of the Legion's robots, and they start to finally see some hope to stay alive. However, that only lasts for a few seconds. Out of nowhere, a whole new number of enemies appear, a far greater number. Suddenly, Lena contacts the squad and launches an aerial strike with Annette's help. She finally decided to help because she found out the dirty kid that she cucked 9 years ago is Shin. All those years accumulating guilt and the desire to know about him forced her to help Lena. Shin is still fighting against his brother, trying to dodge as much as possible while trying to shoot it back on blind spots. He zipper slides through the 3 lines. To avoid getting shot, he jumps into the air and uses his blade to slice his brother's robot and shoots a missile to finally finish it. He didn't take into account that his brother's robot is actually made of liquid metal that stops the explosion, and sends some arms after him. He tries to escape but ends throw away. The squad appears to save him, but it's just a distraction. Lena launches a missile towards their location. Shaorei wants to personally finish his brother off and protects him from the hit. Shin, who was unconscious from his brother's hit, flips his juggernaut up, jumps on top of it, and shoots it down. His mission is finally over. His brother is finally resting in peace to his soul. Shin can finally cry while remembering his few sweet memories of them together. The last remaining members of the Spearhead squad finally decide to get the hell out on their road to a peaceful and free life, but before they send their goodbye to Lena, who bursts into tears, telling her to not leave her alone. A few weeks later, after running away from the Republic, the group is trying to find a place to stay, but all they have managed to find are fights against the Legions. They decide to settle in an abandoned school, but they all know it is their last night together, because Shin can hear Legion robots near their place, and there's only one Juggernaut remaining, Shin's one. As they move, he switches with a companion to drive the Juggernaut because he's bored. But he decides to go solo and leaves his squad behind. They wonder why, and he reminds them, the one who's driving is the one who has to fight. He jumps to the battlefield and dodges as many bullets as he can while taking robots after robots. He's a one-man army until an ultra-long-range cannon knocks him back. 2 more attacks come through, and Shin's Juggernaut cannot move anymore. Legion's robots approach him to take his brain. As he's about to be killed, his friends come out to save the day. Machine guns against robots. Guess who wins? Exactly, they're all doomed. There are blasts everywhere, taking every single of his last 5 companions down, and the Legion robots are approaching to take Shin's brain. Days after the 86 left in their journey to freedom, Lena goes to their base, where she checks their living conditions and sees their farewell message, where Shin asks her to bring flowers if she ever finds their remains. Lena finds her motivation to fight and protect the remaining 86. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.